Good morning. I am so excited about our guest today. She is an amazing woman. She owns her own business. She bought a town, has a community garden. Well, not a community garden, but a garden, has a camping place. We want to give a shout out to any of y'all that camp. Her husband's running for office. I mean, can you put any more into one life? So anyway, I want to say hi to my co-host first, and then we'll talk to Blanca's. But Barbara, is there anything you want to say about Blanca? Just what you've learned about her so far.
I am just loving the description. You always think that you're doing so much, and then you hear somebody else is doing so much more. And it's always, I love hearing what people are doing and why they do it. Mm-hmm. It is just fascinating to me because, we all have our own gifts, talents, blessings, all those things that we have. And it's just amazing to me sometimes of hearing that we all have these these gifts and talents and blessings and things, but we're from all different walks of life, all over the country, sometimes over the world. Mm-hmm. And yet we all think we all think alike. Right. And I truly believe that we are more alike than we are different. And we might be doing different things, but we're all human beings and we're all God's children, and we all have our strengths and things that we like to do. So I am so excited to hear all the things that you are doing.
Well, and I want to say before we start with Blanca, number one, she's a success looking for somewhere to happen. But how many of you have a dream or a desire or a talent that you're sitting on? And one of my favorite things is, are you sitting on the sofa eating bonbons and watching soap operas? And so many people are. So Blanca, kind of come in, tell us a little bit about yourself.
How you got started. Because I think that's one of the biggest things that stops people. They don't know how to get started. And that's one of the things, like, people ask me, how did you get to be doing all these shows that you do? And it's like, I started with doing little 50-second videos on Instagram. Oh, well, I guess I could do that. Mm-hmm. And it's just, so I love to hear how people get started, because I have found that that's what stops people so often. Yes. Is that they just don't know how to get started. So I'm so excited to hear how you got started.
Oh, well, thanks for having me, y'all. I'm so excited to share my story and just pour in to both of y'all and then the audience that is listening today. How I got started was about 9 years ago, mostly 10 years ago. I was going through a divorce. Had been with my ex for 21 years, and grateful that my husband now, Blair, was, we had talked and dated for about a year, but I was at a path, and I was either could go this way and go back into corporate, which there's nothing wrong with that if that is something that you want to pursue, or take the road less traveled, or take the harder road. For me, it was brand new. And it was a gateway into what we have been able to receive currently. And what I mean by that is just belief in yourself and having the faith to pursue the unknown to get you to where you are right now. It's like, how am I going to strategize and get better? What do I need to do, or who do I need to become? Not that I was thinking I was better, but I needed to do some self-improvement. And I needed to make sure that if I was going to go this route, some old things had to die off. There were some things that I had to evaluate as a woman. I tell my girls, my team, we're always going to be evolving. It doesn't matter whether you're just graduated out of high school or graduated out of college. or after 21 years, you find yourself in a situation like I found myself in. It's like, what are you going to do? And how are you going to take advantage of the situation and bet on you? And so that's when the health and wellness world came into my life. I fought it for a super long time because I still didn't understand the concept, but what I did catch on to was the personal development of this company. And it wasn't just one person you had to listen to. It was just like, find something that you like and that is going to talk to your mind and to your soul and to your heart, and run with it. And for me, it was Les Brown. So I began listening to Les Brown motivations, reading his books, and he really touched my heart. And then it just got into different authors and having the belief system, because I didn't necessarily grow up that way. I grew up a little bit different than most. Maybe somebody has the same background as I did. You know, I have my grandparents. I'm grateful for they took care of me, but in different circumstances, I grew up with a limited mindset. I grew up a little bit on the streets. The words that I heard all the time was like, you're not going to be anything. You're going to end up dead, face down in the gutter. You have nothing going for you. And those were the things that I grew up with. I was in abusive parental relationships, you know, and I'm not trying to, I have been down the path where there's forgiveness, and I'm not trying to throw my mom shade. You know what that means. I'm like trying not to make her look bad, but those were my circumstances as a young child. So learning about personal development was new for me because I had that thought process. Well, who do they think they are? Because you're growing up on the streets, you think everybody has something out for you. What do you want? What do you want from me? And you're either going to protect yourself, you're in fight or flight, or you're just going to, you know, internalize and become recluse, and you're not going to be functional in a different way, should I say. But that's how I got started. I've always been a fighter. So I knew I had to fight off the old to get to the new. And it's been still a process. It's not ever going to, I will be
Never ending.
Working on that until the day I die. But I'm so grateful that I'm not where I was when I first started, because I fought it, I struggled with it, but I kept moving forward because I knew I wanted more and I knew I deserved more. I just didn't know how to get it. Then I started surrounding myself with like-mindedness. I would go to different events here in Amarillo. I would go to the Chamber of Commerce events like I had done previously in my career prior to launching off my own entrepreneurial business. I would go to Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. I would seek out women that were, you know, doing more than what I was doing so that I could learn from them. Some were very accommodating and some were telling me to get lost, which is okay. I don't mind that. And one of those things was just make sure I stay true to who I am so that later I can teach others how to do this very same thing. And those are the things that I want even now, is to show everybody, you know what, you can do this. What do you need help with? What can I do for you? And all of that stems from the women that were like, nope, I don't want to help you. Nope, get away. So for me, it was like, Lord, whatever gifts you allow me to have during this process, please let me be able to show others what to do. And sometimes it's a struggle because they want you to hold your hand, but Lord, what am I supposed to do here? Because they're teaching me a lesson also. I'm supposed to grow from them and vice versa. So I got started because I got fired from a job that really just launched it off. That right there is how I got started. And I'm very grateful for that opportunity. I'm grateful that I got to do that. And I'm very grateful for friends like Carol. I've known Carol a while, and networking and just all kinds of different stuff, and learning about her, and now learning about you, Barbara, and being able to teach. I love that. I love that when our team or women come and ask, even men, kids, they'll ask, what are you reading? What are you listening to?
Right.
And so I tell them, well, my favorite authors are one, Les Brown, because that's who I started out with. I love listening to John Maxwell. His books are so awesome, especially the Leader Shift. That was my favorite book. I've read a lot of his books, but that one just really touched my soul. Simon Sinek, and just different authors. Brene Brown, she was part of my life for like 3 years when I was trying to fix some heart. We had to do some heart work,
Right.
Along with personal development, you got to have that heart work. So Brene Brown, even though she kicked my ass, it was great. It was the best thing that anybody can do for themselves, not just, women, but men and women. Trying to change the generations to come. If I can do something now for my family, what's that going to do for my children's children? And I'll take the hits right now. I'll do that because I'm strong enough to do that. And even though I feel like I'm getting my butt kicked in the arena, it's worth it, and it's going to be worth it. So then we talk about business. My favorite teaching tool is one. We want to educate folks. We want to tell them what's going on with ourselves, and in the order I put it is we entertain. I love getting on social media. I love talking to people on my stories, my Insta stories, my Facebook stories, and letting them into the personal part of our lives. I like to share my grandma. I like to share my relationship with Blair, and then our journey, because he's running for Potter County Commissioner, and that's a whole different avenue. And it's been fun to learn how to do that. And just
that's our latest adventure.
Yeah, that's the latest adventure. So, we entertain, we educate, and we execute. During COVID, I'll never forget, March 2020, they shut our gyms down. And when they shut our gyms down, we had a small, it's like a studio, 15 to 20 people could fit in there. And we turned it into a plant nursery. We went ahead and made the shift and pivot towards a new avenue to help us pay bills. We really weren't looking to like, oh yes, we're going to, this is a get rich thing. This is work. It was a lot of work. We started that business. It's now an S Corp, but we started it with $130. And that paid for compost and some seeds. And that was our primary, our expenditures on that. We had
Hold on
friends.
a minute, Blanca. Can I put something in here? Blanca,
Sure.
Her first venture was a shake shop. So you can go to her place and you can get smoothies and tea and things like that, hang out, talk. And then next door was where they put the gym. And didn't the gym open like a month, 2 months before they shut the gyms down? Wasn't it just like this long?
Well, the gym had been open actually for a couple years. It was we've had it for 4 years.
Well, I know you were working with people working out. I didn't know that you had the gym physical space. So obviously I don't gym that much.
It's okay. It's okay.
But
We'll forgive you for this one.
Yes. The smoothie shop is a brick and mortar. It allows customers to come in and, of course, try our products, have a tasty almond joy or a tea. But what I love the most is that we get to visit with our customers that come in. And a lot of our customers that come in they're homeless. And we know that they're homeless. We make sure the smoothies are so good for them because a lot of them don't have their teeth. They're not feeling good. So we have product that we can make, a tea, anything like that, that would make them feel good. And sometimes it's a couple bucks here and there. It's the bus is just right down the street, and you can pretty much tell who just wants it for what, and who really just needs a dollar stretched until the 1st or the 15th of the month. And so we don't judge who comes in here. We don't ask questions. And we also have millionaires that come in here and pour, not just into Blair and I, but to our team, how to do business, what to listen for, how to look. We have real estate investors coming in and pouring into our team. And I just let our team listen. I'll listen too, but I want our team to understand that it's not just a shake making place. If you hear it, you'll understand it and be able to move and shift also if they need to. And so this is the type of environment that we have at our smoothie bar. And I love it. I love it. And I treasure everything about those relationships, because we've been friends for the last 5 years, and we've developed and grown not just business relationships, but personal relationships. We get to go to barbecues and birthday parties, and we get invited to weddings, and that's what I love about this relationship.
Okay, so go from you planted some seeds.
Sure.
We're I want them to hear your whole story, and it's all so good.
Right. We had some friends that come into the shop, said, hey, you can, whatever we have at our recycling bin, come get it. We literally pulled pallets apart, built raised garden beds, because he just gave it to us. He was like, here, take all these pallets. So we made garden beds. We planted and fed over 57 families. Wow. Gosh.
And it out of your backyard?
And the backyard, yes, at the farm and the backyard. Then we had the opportunity during 2020 to buy the Township of Jericho. And the Township of Jericho, we didn't find out really a whole lot of it, the history of it, until we started digging. Jericho was a town that was founded in 1902 off the old Rock Island Railroad. And then during that time, guess what? The Schaffer family, my husband's family, came by covered wagon, 1893, in Homestead off McClellan Creek. Then they did business at Jericho. They had a mercantile store. They had horse, what do you call them?
Livery.
Yes, livery. And they just had a lot of business there, and cattle, and they farmed. And those were things that we were able to find out. So we knew right then and there we had to put our bid in for it. And it was a fight. It was during COVID, and it took us 8 months, because the owner just really didn't, after a while, I think she just didn't want to sell it to us. She's like, well, you put it out there, we have the money for it, we got to get up and go. So every day it seemed like there was a struggle. And during COVID, you could only correspond by email to the Veterans Land Board. They didn't want to take the phone call. It was all by email, which, okay, but they didn't work on Friday or Mondays. So we just kept praying about it. We kept working towards it like we were going to receive it, because that's how we operate. You got to, just keep working like you're going to receive that. And yep, you have to. Right. And you have to fight for it. I felt like the Lord was like, here, you this is yours, but how bad do you want it? And it was like, oh, okay. So, it was one obstacle after another. It's like, check, we got it. Check, we got it. And, if you want to know all the details, well, that's a later conversation, but it was really obstacle after obstacle. And some folks would have quit. And at the last end, we had to find somebody to tear down the old barn. The old barn was over 100 years old. The owner didn't want to do it. And she goes, you can't do it, Blair Shaffer, my husband, because even though you have experience in demolition, I don't want you there. Well, we went there anyway, because she lived down in Dallas. We were up here. We tore down that barn in 2 days. A week later, we signed.
So why did it have to be torn down before it sold?
the Veterans Land Board didn't want to, they felt like it was a hazard. And it was a hazard. But one of our friends was able to submit a bid into for that. And he said, well, I'm going to Sturgis, y'all figure it out. Like, okay. And, you know, I have a Buick Enclave. And so we had to use a Buick Enclave to tear her down. We had chainsaws, we had axes, we had tie down straps, and we pulled that thing apart, and it took us 2 days, 2 full days to do that. And a week later we signed. So ever since then, it's just been, we automatically turned a section 10,000 square foot into a market garden, and we went to work. And that last year, 2021, we did everything by hand, old school, wheelbarrow and shovel. That's going to be the name of my next speech, wheelbarrow and shovel, because that's how we built our market garden. A lot of people will wait for innovation in tools, automation. We just didn't have that. We had to do it now. We are to be progressive. We're to be just go-getters. That's in all of us. So that's what we did. Then at like 3 sections, 9,000 to 3,000 square foot each. Then we had our cantaloupes and our watermelons in a different area. But it was all wheelbarrow and shovel. Okay, and a rototiller, a walking rototiller, one of those old school ones. But that's how we did that. And we were able to also feed more families last year. We were able to give a lot of food away. We don't talk about that, but you know, because it's not like for us, but it was like we are here to serve. Who else can we give? What else can we do, Lord? This is something that we have to pay back. You've given us such a wonderful gift. How can we give back? We're healthy, we're still strong, we'll work long hours. Just what do we need to do? And we feel like that is our responsibility to the farm and to the community and the people that have helped us. You know, that's just one thing that we want to do, is to maintain that servitude. You know, we're all supposed to, I feel like we're supposed to do something and give back to those that have taught us and those who had helped us. Sometimes it was just words of encouragement when you feel down and you're about to get it, you know. So clear on the other side of our farm is old Route 66. And off old Route 66, we have met people from all over the country at the time, because now they've opened up international travel and we're getting hit with international travelers now. So it's been amazing of what we've been able to do so far for the summer and the spring, summer, and then the fall. They're just wanting to travel. People from all over the world, Finland, Greenland, you name it. They're like, hey, can we stay with you? Because we've been able to do the social media presence there with them. So I'm very grateful that that has opened up for us as well. It's just been a great and wonderful opportunity to also do that. It has. I love it. That's my background, actually, is travel and tourism. So I feel like I'm back in my element.
Well, and that brings me to one thing. Find the things. What I love about your story is that you found things that you wanted to do and you liked to do, that you had a talent for, and the rest of the things you learned.
Yes. That's what I was going to bring up. She's the Google queen. She will YouTube things.
And learn how to do something new.
Yes. And it's books. I tell everybody, your library gives you free books to read, to study. And then if you need a little bit more time, just go extend it. And I do that a lot. I go to my library downtown. I Google and I read.
Google's my best friend.
Yes, absolutely.
You can Google. I mean, Google is a verb.
Mm-hmm.
Can you imagine that Google is a verb?
Yeah.
And just Google it.
Yep.
And
I tell everybody, if
anything.
you have one of these, you should be making some money. A little bit.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. There's so much to be done out there. And
Mhm.
I am so excited that we were able to finally get you on the show, because you are such a wealth of can-do-itiveness.
Oh,
Okay.
I love that. That's
Uh,
awesome.
you are.
And don't
And
let people stop you.
no,
Mhm.
I've
That's
watched
one of the things that I
this
loved what you
journey.
just said. Don't let people stop you.
No.
You know, when God puts it, when, you know, like we're all women of faith. So when God puts it on your heart to do something,
Yes.
Mhm.
go do it.
Yes.
Amen.
There's a favorite quote that I hear all the time, and I play it and play it and play it in my head, especially when I'm feeling, just in the trenches, and I'm like, oh, I think about this quote, and it's like, your imagination is your life's preview coming attraction.
Yes, I love that.
Amen.
In fact,
Amen.
I just saw that the other day again.
Yes.
Ones keep coming up to you.
Yes. And so I take that as the Lord's way of speaking to me in my imagination, because there's some things that I know I wouldn't have thought of
Right.
myself because of how I am. I just know me, right? And I'm like, thank you, God. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna write that down. Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And if it's a book where, oh, I have to go over here, it's just, your imagination's everything. And I refuse to let anybody suffocate what's in here and what the Lord has for me. So it's
Amen.
we have to get it fearlessly and aggressively. Just saying, so many people want to take it from you. It's worth fighting for. Everything is.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
one of the things for me is that when you do find that thing that it just stirs your soul, it's something that stirs your soul. When you decide to embrace it, even though you have no idea how you're going to do it, seriously, you want me to do what? You
Yep.
know,
Yeah. If
Yeah.
God gives you the
That
vision,
faith,
He'll give you the provision.
Yes.
You may have to
God will
work for it,
bring
you
the
may have to
how.
wait for it, but He will supply.
Yeah.
You do
Okay.
not know how, you don't have to know the how. The
No.
people that I always say that so often I can look back on times where I've said, gee, maybe I should do that. No idea how I would do that. How would I do that? And then all of a sudden the people turn up to show me exactly how to do it,
Yes.
because they've already done it, or they've done parts of it, and they know somebody that can help you do the other part of it, and the other part of it, and the other part of it. And all of a sudden I look back 5 years and go, wow, look at all the things. Little did I know when I first did my very first 50-second Instagram little video, that I would be part of this huge thing of let's get our messages out there to get visible.
Yes, absolutely. And when you say that, it just I'm tearing up right now, because whenever I know that it's from God, I get scared, because I don't want to disappoint, but also these new things are so scary. But if you put it in my heart, okay, show me how, and it's everything in my life has been like that. And I just close my eyes. I cry at new things because I don't know how, Lord, but you know what? You got me. I'm here. And so let's go.
And I'm open.
And I'm
I am
open.
open for what you have for me.
Yes.
Exactly. And
Yes.
so I'm grateful. I'm so grateful that I haven't forgotten that part and just let that die and quit dreaming and quit imagining and, just living in here, because this right here, our minds can do so much. And I'm so grateful that God just did not give up at all.
I think it was Bob Proctor.
On all of
says
us,
if
on all of us. So
Yes.
we
if you
want to
can
thank
think it,
you.
you can achieve it.
Yes.
You're right.
We want to thank
Absolutely.
you though, Blanca. This has been so much fun. I'm so glad to bring you to another group of people
I
and let them
know.
get to know you. If anybody has questions, please, comment, like, and share, I think is what you're supposed to say. Click all the little buttons and such as that on whatever platform you're seeing this. But if you have a question, put it in there, because, for any of us, And we will be more than glad to get back with you and help you or give you, if you need a link to a book or some information. That's what we're here for. All three of us. We're here to help. We're not like those mean girls in school that just want to push people away. We're collaborators. Okay. We're collaborators and we work together because the rising tide rises all boats. Raises all boats. So guys, thank you for coming today and joining us. Yeah, it's been fun, but our time's out. So I'm going to be the bad guy and have to cut us off. And I really hate that, but we will see y'all next week. Oh, I guess I need to wave with this hand. I have a wound. I'll tell you about that on a Monday morning motivation. So tune in.
Don't
Monday.
let wounds stop you.
Don't let a wound stop you. So
Don't let a wound stop you.
We will see y'all, and it's so exciting to get to have Blanca on here. And go vote. It's very important. Okay, whether you can vote for Blair or not, which I can't, because I'm not, and Barbara can't because she's a long way away. But go vote. It is important, and we will see y'all. Bye.
Bye.